The shocking truth: why you study hard but learn nothing. It was almost 2 in the morning. The small lamp on my desk was the only light left in the room. My notebook looked like a rainbow: yellow, pink, blue, green. Every sentence was underlined. Every page was crowded with highlights. My coffee had turned cold. I told myself just 10 more minutes. But 10 minutes became another hour. Have you ever stared at your notes, feeling proud for working so hard, yet deep down you know nothing has stayed in your mind? I was there once, and it broke me. There were 2 students in my class, Min and An. Min studied for less than 40 minutes a day. He slept well, met friends, and still ranked among the best, and studied 4 hours every night. She barely rested, skipped meals, and always looked tired. But when the grades came out, Min smiled. Anne cried. That day I realized something. The difference was not talent. It was not luck. It was the method. Welcome to Learn English Listening. I am Lydia. Here we do not just learn English, we learn how to grow. If you have ever felt stuck in your studies, this story is for you. By the end of this video, you will see how to study less, remember more, and finally enjoy learning again. Before we begin, tell me where you are joining from and what time it is there. Keep that picture in your mind, the notes, the colors, the long nights, because by the end of this story, you might never look at studying the same way again. When I was in university, I thought studying all day was a badge of honor. I would stay in the library for 12 hours. My eyes burned, my head hurt, and I still believed that pain meant progress. But it was not progress. It was fear. I feared failure. I feared falling behind. I feared being seen as lazy. So I worked harder. I read the same page 5 times. I rewrote notes again and again. But nothing changed. Have you ever studied for hours only to forget everything the next morning? If yes, then you know the silence that follows, that heavy feeling that maybe you are not smart enough. One night, I stared at my desk full of notes and realized something strange. I was not learning. I was decorating my anxiety. I had created the illusion of productivity. We often think we are climbing a mountain, but in truth, we are running on a treadmill. Moving, sweating, but staying in the same place. Our teachers tell us to study longer. Our friends brag about pulling all-nighters, but nobody tells us that the brain does not store information by hours. It stores it by attention and repetition. That night, I asked myself, what if the problem is not me? What if the problem is how I learn? The truth is, working longer does not mean learning deeper. Studying harder does not mean remembering more. That was the moment everything began to change. I did not need more time. I needed a better way. Your brain is not a photocopy machine. It is a living garden. You cannot throw in pages and expect flowers to grow. You must water it, tend it, and give it time to bloom. Learning is not about hours. It is about retention, the knowledge you keep, not the time you spend. Here's a simple truth. Knowledge gained equals time multiplied by memory retention. If you study 5 hours and remember 10%, you have only learned 30 minutes worth. But if you study 1 hour and remember 50%, you have learned 5 times more in less time. This is what changed everything for me. I started to study smarter, not longer. There are 3 English phrases that helped me remember this lesson. The first one is work smarter, not harder. It means success comes from strategy, not suffering. The second one is less is more. Doing less with focus brings greater results. And the third is practice makes permanent. What you repeat the right way becomes part of you. Passive learning is like pouring water into a basket. It leaks out no matter how much you pour. Active learning is when you repair the basket first. You test yourself. You teach what you learn. You apply it in real life. Which kind of learner are you now? Passive or active? Tell me in the comments. When I discovered this truth, I stopped measuring study time by hours. I measured it by what stayed in my mind. And suddenly, the heavy feeling disappeared. I was learning faster, with less stress. That realization changed everything. I stopped highlighting. I started teaching. At first, it felt strange. I used to hide behind my books, afraid to speak. But one day, I closed the textbook and explained a topic to my friend. My voice trembled, my thoughts scattered. Yet something magical happened. The more I spoke, the clearer my mind became. I was finally learning, not memorizing. I began to test myself instead of rereading. When I forgot something, I smiled, because forgetting showed me where to grow. Each small mistake became a light, pointing to what I truly needed to learn. This was the power of active recall. It was no longer about reading the same words. It was about calling knowledge back to life. I remember the first exam after I changed my method. For the first time, I walked in calm. I finished early. I remembered everything, and when I got my results, I realized it was not luck. It was clarity. 2 English phrases describe this moment perfectly. The first is to get the hang of something. It means to finally understand how to do it. The second is a turning point, a moment when everything changes direction. Pause this video for a moment. Think about one topic you studied yesterday. Try to explain it aloud, as if you're teaching a friend. Can you do it clearly? If not, that is where you begin. If you could change one study habit this week, what would it be? Tell me below. That small shift from copying to creating turned studying into joy. It stopped being a punishment and became a form of discovery. For years, I believed rest was weakness, that only lazy people slept early, that successful people must always be busy. I was wrong. Rest is not escape. Rest is strategy. Think of your brain as a field. If you keep planting without letting the soil breathe, nothing will grow. The same is true with learning. Your mind needs quiet moments to settle what it has absorbed. Science shows that memory strengthens during sleep. When you rest, your brain organizes what you learned, like a librarian arranging books on the right shelves. Without rest, everything remains scattered. If you are tired, it does not mean you are lazy. It means your mind is asking for space to grow. Take that nap. Step outside for fresh air. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. You are still learning, just in a gentler way. When you stop pouring more into your cup, the water finally settles, and in that stillness, you will see reflection, clarity, and calm. Learning should not feel like drowning. It should feel like dissowering. Right now, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to more hours, more stress, and endless exhaustion. The other path leads to focus, balance, and freedom. Which one will you choose? Remember that cold cup of coffee on your desk at the beginning of this story. Maybe it is time to let it rest. Maybe it is time to study not harder, but wiser. If this message gave you something new to think about, share it with a friend who might be struggling right now. Your words could be the light that helps someone else change their way of learning. And if you want to keep growing, in English and in life, subscribe to Learn English Listening. Here, we do not chase perfection. We practice growth. At this moment, you stand between comfort and growth. Which path will you take? Remember, your mind is not a machine. It is a garden, and every word you plant today will bloom when you care for it the right way.